Everybody, it's John, your Indian Cine-MANIAC, back with another 10ish minute review. You know what? I'm starting to think maybe I should change the name of this show to 15ish minute review, because my reviews have have not been 10 minutes in a long time. I don't know. Share your thoughts in the comment section on that. Okay, so I'm straying from the viewer choices for one film that showed up on my queue on Netflix. So as you guys know, I'm a big Ajay Devgyn fan from the Singham and the Drishyam movies, amongst others. But this movie showed up called Shaitaan, and it's a 2024 movie. And Shaitan in Arabic is Satan. So I had a pretty good feeling where this one was going. So that's the one I'm going to review. Now, I want to make this clear. This is a spoiler-filled review. So if you've not seen the film, you do not want to watch this. I'm not going to tippy-toe around it and then do spoilers at the end. I'm just going to spoil the film, okay? So I just want to know you to know that ahead of time. I don't want to mislead my audience. This film was directed by Vikas Bahl, who directed one of my favorite films, Queen. It stars Ajay Devgyn, who again, Singham, Drishyam, Bholaa, Madhavan, who I saw first in Three Idiots, then 13B, Fear Has a New Address, in Eang De Basanti. Never seen him in anything quite like this, however. Jyotika, I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that right. Jyotika, Janki Bodiwala, and Anngad Raaj. So this film, first of all, it was relatively short. And I like that because some of the movies I've been watching have been pretty long. It's an official Hindi remake of the 2023 film Vash. So if you've seen Vash, then I'm not going to be spoiling anything for you. And Janki played the same role in the original version in 2023. She takes over the exact same role. This is also the first Hindi film of Jyotika for 26 years. And you know, as I was watching the film and the antagonist of this film is a character who can, well, wait a minute. I'm jumping ahead before I say the story. Let's talk about the story. This is the basic premise of a story. You have a family, a happy family, a wonderful family, and they take about 15 minutes to establish how amazing this family is and how close they are. And on a vacation, they stop at a diner, a restaurant, not quite sure what it was, where they meet a guy played by Madhavan, who seems pleasant enough. He actually bails out the father because the father's short of money for something because the cash register can't make change. So this guy helps out. Well, then he joins them for lunch, for food. And that's when the fun begins. And he gives the daughter, the daughter, a treat. I think it's a ladoo. I'm not 100% sure. I also think, and again, they're not very clear on this, but I think the ladoo is cursed because once she takes that sweet, she basically is under his control. Whatever he asks her to do, she has to do. Now, you don't really, they give you glimpses of this, but you're not really quite sure what's going on. Now they go to their vacation home, or they call it the farm, but it's this beautiful, beautiful house. And this guy shows up, and the entire movie is he apparently is Satan and is taking control of her to be his paramour, bride, I guess. You're not really sure. And for over an hour, he's just pretty much torturing her and the family. She cannot refuse him of anything he wants her to do. So it's brutal. And and by the way, the actress is wonderful in this. The pain that she goes through trying to fight it, but she can't fight it. And the parents too, who are helpless to stop this. And he tells her to kill them. He tells her to They hit him in the head, tells her to laugh till she dies, stuff like that. And so the story basically is how do they get her back, and how do they do something about him? And that's the basic story of it. And you know, I liked the story. It was just such a it's hard to explain, but you definitely were on edge almost the entire movie because you're like, how are they going to get out of this? And it was relentless in the torturing of the girl and the parents and the little brother, which I'm going to talk about later. So overall, I'll give the story maybe a 4 because it's not anything I've seen before. Although I will say this, as you guys may or may not know, I am a comic book fan. And there is a comic book villain in the Marvel universe that's called the Purple Man. And his power is if he tells you to do something, you have to do it, whatever it is. And that's what it reminded me of. And so that was it was kind of well, it was very creepy. And again, the poor girl. So as the story progresses, and it gets the torture gets ramped up. It's brutal. In fact, the kid, and do I think the movie was free of criticism? No, because there's a couple of things. One, why not gag the guy or try to knock him out, or the girl who's doing everything they said, including with a knife, knock her out so she can't respond. That was kind of like, why didn't they just do that? It didn't make any sense to me. But anyway, regardless of that, it was brutal. And the little kid, the brother, I liked his character, but the kid's like made of jello because no matter what she did to him, he survived. I mean, she bashes his head in, and it's brutal. And then she throws him off a roof, and the kid survives. And there's just no way I see that kid surviving that. That's just a small critique. And the ending, which I liked because it was surprising, because the movie starts off, and this is when you knew it was going to be really creepy. It starts off with all you see are feet in this forest. And in the foreground is a rat with flies. And all of a sudden, way in the background, you see the feet and you hear this whistling. And the feet get closer and closer. Then someone picks up the rat and puts it in a plastic bag, still whistling, and then walks away. And then now you come to the opening credits, which I'll get into that when I talk about the music. And that pays off at the end when you realize the person who that was. First, you think it's the bad guy, the Satan guy, but it ends up being the father who has captured the devil and has got him chained up and is feeding him the rats. It was a uh, uh, great scene at the end of the movie that he was able to stop this guy and the way he stopped him. And this is the ending I like, but there was like, so you find out that this guy did this to a lot of young ladies because they go to this satanic temple where they're going to perform this ritual where all the women are going to die, including his daughter. And there's like 50 of them, and the father shows up in very clever ways too. I won't get in all the detail about the film, but he figures out a way to track their phone, and he shows up at this temple, and they get the best of him. In fact, they hit him on the head with a big thick piece of wood, which should have knocked him out, but it didn't. So he's on the altar with the devil there, and he's got a knife that went through his hand that the daughter did, taped up, and it was a great scene. He uses the knife to swing, and you're not quite sure what happened. All of a sudden, you see this tongue go flying. He cut the guy's tongue off, so now the guy can't talk. And he's like, oh, it was great. And he had a recording of him giving a command, and he used the recording to free all the women. But before he did that, they swarm him. And it's like 20 seconds of swarming him, and nothing happens. And he manages to pull out this video camera and play the recording that he made where he recorded this command. So that that was kind of lame. But I did like the cutting of the tongue, and then him at the end with long hair and a scraggly beard, chained up, and he can't really talk. And Ajay's character said, "You're in hell now. You're going to put my daughter in hell. Now you're in hell now." And he walks away with a smile on his face, and that's how the movie ended. So yeah, yeah. So I really did like it. The performances, I thought all the performance, Ajay is very heroic, but the mother at one point, the mother played by Jyotika, at one point is so frustrated she ends up wailing on this guy, and I mean beating him. And I'm like, good for you. And, that he finds a way to turn it around. But that scene was great. But the two best performances, obviously, were the daughter, who, starts off as this, just robust, healthy, happy daughter. And then as the commands get worse and worse, you see her struggling with it, and you see her pure evil. I mean, she throws her brother off a roof, and she can't control it all. At one point, she pees her pants because he wants her to anyone who comes to him to stab, and she's trying to fight it. And that was her way to warn the father, don't come down here, don't come down here. And the flashiest performance was Madhav. I've never seen him play a role as evil as this, but it wasn't it wasn't even that he was like super evil. He was, but he didn't play it that way. He played it very calm, very pleasant, smile on his face. And the way he would talk, it made it so much more evil. 'Cause that he was relishing in it. And they had to give permission, that he couldn't take her if they didn't give permission, the parents. So he played it that way. He was wonderful in this. And I don't know if he's going to play any more bad guys, but so I'm going to give the performances a 4 because they definitely help. Now I don't know how it compares to Vash. I mean, the girl's the same, so I assume her performance was just good. I don't know how the other parents were. And as far as the music goes, you knew what the music was going to be like during the opening credits. There is some really creepy music in the opening credits. And this was a movie where, and I appreciate this, it didn't have the musical numbers. Okay. It didn't need it. But the incidental music was just really creepy. I don't know how else to describe it. And it fit perfectly with the tone of this film, because it was a creepy film, and what they were going through and the looks on their faces as their daughter's being tortured. So I really loved the music. I'm going to give the music a 4. And overall, and I don't know what people are going to think about this film. How does it compare to the original? But for me, as just a viewer of films, I'm going to give it a 4 because it had me from the beginning till the end. I want to know what was going to happen. Yeah, there were things about it I wasn't crazy about, but I still really, really liked it, and I would recommend it if you haven't seen it. But it was just it's also, I know in India it's a lot. It's a big family thing to go to the movies. This is not a family film. I would not want to bring my family to this film, especially with what happens to the two kids, because it's pretty brutal. And I think I appreciated that too. It didn't have any of the glitz and glamour. And Ajay is always good in his films, and I always enjoy watching him. He's got that great voice too. He's just so heroic, which I like. So overall, a 4. So really enjoyed the movie. I think you'll like it too if you haven't seen it. It doesn't take 3 hours to watch it, so check it out if you get a chance. Now, the next film I am going to review, and this is off the viewer choice, is a SRK film. That's right. I bet you there'll be a little bit of this, a little bit of this. The film is 2003's Kal Ho Na Ho. Kal Ho Na Ho. So that's the next film I am going to review on the 10ish minute review. So that's it, everybody. Short and sweet. Again, probably 14ish minutes, 15ish minutes. I'm not really sure. But thanks for watching. Once again, always appreciate you guys watching. Always appreciate the comments. And I do appreciate the recommendations too. So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll talk to you soon with, yes, another 10ish to 15ish minute review. Thanks for watching, everybody.